For almost all of human history, the night was pitch black. No phones, no streetlights, nothing but darkness, sometimes for 12 hours straight. So what on earth did our ancestors do with all those hours? The answer is far stranger than you'd think. Think about your own night. Screens glowing, lights on, staying up as late as you like. For your ancestors, the second the sun dropped, the entire world simply switched off. And that one fact shaped almost everything about how they lived. But here's the first surprise. The night didn't just stop their day, it transformed it. And it all started with one invention that changed our species forever: fire. Fire did three things at once. It kept them warm. It scared off the predators hunting in the dark. And it handed humans something no other animal on Earth had ever owned: extra hours of light. Suddenly, the day no longer ended at sunset. By firelight, they could keep cooking, mend their tools, and repair their weapons. Fire quietly stretched human time, adding hours that used to belong only to sleep. And fire did something we still do every single night. It brought them together to eat. The first shared meals, the first family dinners, happened right here, in a small circle of light carved out of the dark. And around that fire, something almost magical happened. When scientists studied modern hunter-gatherer tribes, they found that daytime talk was mostly practical. Who did what? Who owed who? Basic gossip. But at night, everything changed. By firelight, around 80% of all conversation turned into something completely different. Stories, myths, legends, tales of ancestors and faraway lands. The night was when humans truly became storytellers. And these stories were never just entertainment. They smuggled in survival tips, mental maps of the land, and rules for how to treat one another. Many historians think firelight is where human culture was actually born. Fire even changed their bodies. Scientists found that simply watching flames flicker actually lowers your blood pressure and calms you down. Your ancestors got that gentle, screen-free calm every single night of their lives. But as strange as those firelight nights were, they're not even the weirdest part. Because the way our ancestors slept would look completely broken to us today. Here it is. Ancient humans did not sleep in one long block the way we all fight to do. Instead, they slept in two completely separate shifts, with a stretch of wide-awake time right in the middle. They'd drift off a couple of hours after dark. Historians literally call this the first sleep. Their bodies rested deeply for 3 or 4 hours, safe inside a dark hut or cave. Then, around midnight, they would naturally wake up. Not from a nightmare, not in a panic, just calmly awake, for an hour, sometimes 2. And here is the key part. This was completely, totally normal. So what did they do in that quiet midnight hour? All sorts of things. They'd poke the fire back to life, murmur softly to family, pray, or simply lie there and let their minds wander. Some visited neighbors. Some did a little work. And doctors of the time actually recommended this hour as the best moment for couples to make more humans. Then they'd slide into what they called the second sleep, right up until dawn. That midnight waking hour had another strange gift. It was prime time for dreams. People woke with their dreams still vivid, and they would share them, treating them as messages, omens, or visits from the dead. Now you might think this is just a nice theory. It is not. A historian named Roger Kirch spent years digging through old documents, and he found the phrases first sleep and second sleep again and again and again. It showed up in diaries, in medical textbooks, in prayers written for the middle of the night, in court records, plays, and poems. Across hundreds of years and dozens of languages, everyone simply knew about the 2 sleeps. So what happened to it? Why don't you sleep in 2 shifts? The answer is a single invention. When cheap artificial light arrived, the night suddenly became useful for work and for fun. In barely 100 years, people pushed bedtime later and later, squeezed sleep into one solid block, and the ancient 2-sleep rhythm quietly vanished from memory. Your great-great-grandparents may have been among the last to live it. And here is a side effect we completely lost. The modern panic of lying in bed thinking I can't sleep barely existed. Waking in the night was expected, so nobody stressed about it. Insomnia, as an anxiety, is almost a modern invention. But do not picture the ancient night as all cozy fires and calm reflection. Once the sun went down, the darkness was genuinely, seriously dangerous. Predators like big cats and wolves do their best hunting at night. The cold alone could kill you, and rival groups of humans could creep up completely unseen. After dark, you were the prey. So people did what any clever animal would do. They took turns. While most of the group slept, one or two stayed awake on watch, feeding the fire and listening to the dark. The very first night shift. And remember, humans are terrible in the dark. We are a daytime animal with weak night vision. That is exactly why the night felt so terrifying, and why one small fire felt like the most precious thing on earth. And while they kept watch, they looked up at something you and I have almost completely lost. A night sky absolutely exploding with stars. With zero light pollution, the ancient sky revealed thousands of stars, and the Milky Way stretched across it like a glowing river. Most people alive today have never once seen it. They literally lived under a different sky. And that sky was not just beautiful. It was their calendar, their clock, and their map all at once. The stars told them when to plant, when to move, and which way was home in the dark. The moon marked the months as it swelled and shrank. Certain stars rising meant winter was coming, or the rains, or the time to hunt. The entire sky was a giant clock that nobody ever had to wind. So it's no accident that nearly every ancient culture filled that sky with gods, monsters, and heroes. Staring up at the same stars for hours, night after night, humans simply couldn't help but tell stories about them. The moon even ran their social calendar. A bright full moon meant safer, well-lit nights. So that was when they would travel, gather in big groups, hunt large game, and celebrate. The full moon was the original party light. There's even a reason the dark itself still frightens us. For thousands of generations, the humans who felt that jolt of fear at night were the careful ones who survived. That fear got quietly baked into you. But the night was never only fear. By firelight, humans also danced, drummed, sang, and held their earliest rituals. The dark was the world's first theater, its first temple, and its first campfire concert. And every one of these firelit nights was secretly a classroom. Children learned how to hunt, which plants to trust, and exactly who their people were, all through stories told after dark. The night quietly raised every single generation. And now the fact you'll want to tell someone tonight. Because they slept in 2 calm shifts with a peaceful break in between, some scientists believe ancient humans were actually less anxious and better rested than you are right now. So the next time you jolt awake at 3 in the morning and start to panic, take a breath. Maybe your body isn't broken at all. Maybe it is simply remembering a much, much older rhythm. Ever wondered what else your body still does straight out of the Stone Age? Drop your guesses in the comments and subscribe to keep wondering, because the answers only get stranger from here.